Eala just stunned world number 10 Amanda Anisimova in Cincinnati, and the crowd at the Lindner Family Tennis Center absolutely lost it. The 21-year-old Filipina sensation has now beaten 8 top 10 players this season, and her $7.4 million dream of becoming the first Southeast Asian Grand Slam champion is very much alive. But it wasn't just the win that had everyone talking. It was the way she did it. The Cincinnati Open had barely begun, and already Eala was making a statement after receiving a first-round bye as the No. 17 seed, her highest seeding on the WTA Tour so far. Eala stepped onto court 3 at the Lindner Family Tennis Center with one thing on her mind: revenge. Standing across the net was Elena-Gabriela Ruse, the Romanian who had crushed her Grand Slam dream just 2 years ago at the US Open qualifying rounds. This time, there would be no heartbreak. Eala dominated from the very first point. She broke Ruse's serve early, racing to a 2-1 lead before unleashing a devastating run of 4 straight games to close out the first set 6-1. The Filipina's left-handed ground strokes were firing on all cylinders, her movement was crisp, and her focus was laser-sharp. Ruse had no answers. The second set started the same way, Eala piling on the pressure, racing to a 3-0 lead. And then came the moment that nobody expected. Ruse called for a medical timeout, and after a brief delay, the Romanian officially retired from the match with an ankle injury. It wasn't the way Eala wanted to win. She had come to Cincinnati seeking redemption, not a walkover, and she made that clear in her post-match press conference. "I think that I was playing well. I think I felt the ball good, was really focused and tried to keep myself in the zone. I think I did a good job of that," Eala told the media. Then came the classy touch that has endeared her to fans worldwide. "Of course, nobody likes to finish a match with a retirement. First and foremost, I just want to wish Gabriela Ruse a speedy recovery. Injuries aren't fun, so I hope she recovers soon." The victory evened their head-to-head record at 1-1, erasing the bitter memory of the 2024 US Open qualifying loss. More importantly, it improved Eala's record to an astonishing 8-1 during the North American hardcourt swing. She had won her first WTA title in Washington, reached the 4th round in Toronto, and now she was charging through Cincinnati with the confidence of a player who knows she belongs among the best. "I do think that my days have gotten a little more packed with the commitments and spending time with you guys, but obviously in a very good way, and I'm enjoying it a lot," Eala said, reflecting on her whirlwind few weeks. "I think it's a good sign, and it's helping me become, I guess, a stronger player and be more kind of established on tour." But the revenge mission wasn't complete, because waiting for Eala in the 3rd round was an even bigger challenge. World number 9 Amanda Anisimova, the American who had just crushed Zeynep Sönmez 6-2, 6-3 to set up the showdown. This would be the first meeting between the two players. Eala had already beaten 8 top 10 players this season: Iga Swiatek twice, Jessica Pegula, Elena Rybakina, Elina Svitolina, Jasmine Paolini, Madison Keys, and Coco Gauff. Now she had her sights set on number 9. The $7.4 million dream was still alive, and the Cincinnati crowd was about to witness something unforgettable. Standing between Eala and a spot in the Cincinnati Open quarterfinals was a player who had been knocking on the door of tennis greatness for years: Amanda Anisimova, world No. 5, the 9th seed in Cincinnati, and one of the most dangerous players on the WTA Tour. At just 24 years old, the American had already accomplished more than most players achieve in a lifetime. She was a 4-time WTA titlist, a runner-up at both the US Open and Wimbledon just last year, and the winner of 2 WTA 1000 titles in 2025 after capturing the Qatar Open and China Open. She had reached the quarterfinals of the Australian Open this season and became the youngest French Open semi-finalist at 17 way back in 2019. But it was the way Anisimova had been playing in 2026 that made her such a formidable opponent. The American had won 16 of 24 matches this season with a 16-8 record and had proven she could beat anyone on any given day. "I haven't played her before. She's been having such an incredible season," Anisimova said of Eala before the match. And then came the words that showed just how much respect the American had for the Filipina phenomenon. "A very great player with a lot of fans. I'm really looking forward to that. I know it's probably going to be a very packed stadium. I'm sure it will be really fun." The American knew exactly what she was getting into. She knew that walking onto the court against Eala meant walking into a sea of red, white, and blue. A stadium filled with thousands of Filipino fans ready to explode with every point. She knew that Eala had already beaten 7 top 10 players this season, including Iga Swiatek twice, Jessica Pegula, Elena Rybakina, Elina Svitolina, Jasmine Paolini, Madison Keys, and Coco Gauff. What Anisimova didn't know was that she was about to become number 8. Eala entered the match with the momentum of a player who had won her first WTA Tour title just weeks ago, who had reached the 4th round of Wimbledon, and who had won 8 of her last 9 matches during the North American hardcourt swing. She had proven that she didn't just belong on the same court as the world's best. She could beat them. The stage was set. The crowd was ready. And history was about to be written. The stage was set at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, August 16, 2026, a Sunday afternoon that would become another historic chapter in Eala's fairy tale season. The No. 17 seed walked onto the court knowing that the woman across the net was the most dangerous opponent she had faced since Jessica Pegula in the Washington final. Amanda Anisimova, world number 10. The 9th seed in Cincinnati. A player who had reached the Wimbledon and US Open finals just last year and had captured 2 WTA 1000 titles in 2025. She was everything Eala had been preparing for her entire career. The match began with both players testing each other. Anisimova, the American with the powerful ground strokes and the experience of a 7-year professional career, came out swinging. But Eala was ready. The Filipina had faced bigger names. She had beaten the best, and she knew exactly what she needed to do. What followed was a masterclass in controlled aggression. Eala used her powerful left-handed ground strokes to dictate play from the baseline, moving Anisimova from corner to corner. Her forehand, which had become one of the most feared weapons on tour, was firing on all cylinders. She attacked Anisimova's second serve with ruthless precision, ripping forehand return winners that left the American completely helpless. The first set was a battle, but Eala's consistency and mental toughness proved too much. Anisimova served twice, taking the set 6-4. The crowd was electric, Filipino flags waving from every corner of the stadium, chants of "Let's go Alex" echoing through the stands. But Anisimova wasn't done. The American had come back from worse. She broke Eala early in the second set, taking a 3-1 lead. It was the kind of moment that could have broken a lesser player. But Eala had been here before. She had come from a set down against Jessica Pegula in the Washington final. She had beaten Iga Swiatek on center court. She had conquered the best in the world. Eala dug deep. She broke back immediately, leveling the set at 3-3. And then, with the crowd roaring behind her, she began to pull away. Winners began to flow off her racket with increasing regularity. Anisimova, who had been so composed in the first set, started to show signs of frustration. In the 8th game, Eala broke again. She held serve to take a 5-3 lead. And then, with the crowd on its feet, she closed out the match with a forehand winner that sent the stadium into absolute pandemonium. The final score, 6-4, 6-3. Eala had done it. She had beaten another top 10 player. She had advanced to the quarterfinals of a WTA 1000 tournament for the first time in her career. And the $7.4 million dream was still very much alive. Anisimova, gracious in defeat, acknowledged what everyone in the stadium witnessed. "I haven't played Miss Eala before and she's been having such an incredible season, incredible year. Very great player with a lot of fans," the American had said before the match, and she was right. Eala was having the kind of season that only happens once in a generation. The win improved Eala's record to 9-1 during the North American hard court swing. It was her 9th victory over a top 10 player this season, with wins against Iga Swiatek twice, Jessica Pegula, Elena Rybakina, Svitolina, Jasmine Paolini, Madison Keys, Coco Gauff, and now Amanda Anisimova. And the best part? She was just getting started. By the time Eala stepped onto the court in Cincinnati, she had already accomplished more than most players achieve in a lifetime. But standing in front of her was something even bigger than rankings or titles. It was a number that represented everything she had been working toward since she was 4 years old. $7.4 million. The WTA 1000 Cincinnati Open had exploded in prize money for 2026 with a total purse of $7,483,076. That's a staggering 44% increase from the previous year's $5.1 million. For the champion, the winner's check alone would be $1,085,220, more than $1 million for a single tournament. Even reaching the quarterfinals, where Eala now found herself after defeating Amanda Anisimova, came with a guaranteed $154,210. But the $7.4 million dream isn't just about one tournament. It's about what Eala has been building all season, a career that has already earned her over $1.5 million in prize money in 2026 alone. Let's put that into perspective. Before her historic Wimbledon run in July, Eala had already accumulated $71,430 in prize money during the 2026 season. Then came the 4th round at Wimbledon, becoming the first Filipina to reach that stage at the grass court Grand Slam, which added £300,000, approximately $396,100 to her earnings. But the real breakthrough came in Washington at the Mubadala DC Open. Eala captured her first WTA Tour title, earning $252,000, around P15 500 ranking points, rising to a career-high world number 20. Her career prize money climbed to $1,537,300 over P93.6 million. It was a sum that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago when Eala was a teenager grinding on the ITF circuit. Forbes recognized this historic rise, naming Eala to the prestigious Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia class of 2026 in the sports and entertainment category. The publication noted that Eala had become the Philippines' highest-earning netter of all time in 2026, bagging a total of P54 million in prize money on top of several major endorsements that included Nike and NutriAsia. The recognition was a testament to how far she had come and how much further she could still go. And those endorsements? They're only growing. Just this month, Marriott Bonvoy announced Alex Eala as the face of its Tennis the World campaign across Asia-Pacific, connecting the Filipina star with the company's portfolio of tennis experiences. Marriott pointed to Eala's combination of tennis success, regional connection, and growing international fan base as reasons for making her the centerpiece of the campaign. But the money, impressive as it is, has never been the point for Alex Eala. The prize purse remains secondary to the milestone she achieved, a historic WTA crown that will forever stand as her greatest reward, noted the Manila Bulletin after her Washington triumph. And Eala herself made that clear. I do think that my days have gotten a little more packed with the commitments and spending time with you guys, but obviously in a very good way. And I'm enjoying it a lot, she said after her Cincinnati win over Ruse. I think it's a good sign, and it's helping me become, I guess, a stronger player and be more kind of established on tour. The $7.4 million dream isn't about wealth, it's about validation. It's about proving that a girl from the Philippines, who started playing tennis on crushed seashells in Manila, can compete with the best in the world. It's about building a legacy that will inspire generations of Filipino children to dream bigger. And now, with every win at Cincinnati, that dream gets closer to reality. The quarterfinals bring 154,210. The semifinals would bring 297,350. The final would bring 564,009. And winning it all, 85,001. But Eala knows the real prize isn't the money. It's the chance to become the first Filipino and the first Southeast Asian player to win a Grand Slam. That's the dream that has driven her since childhood. The money? That's just a bonus. What Eala's game is particularly suited to hard courts, where her ultra-early ball striking, left-handed angles, an elite return game can put opponents under immediate pressure, noted Gemini in a recent analysis. Standing close to the baseline, she takes the ball on the rise to rob rivals of recovery time, while her flat, heavy ground strokes and lefty serve create difficult angles. The chatbots agree. Eala has a 5 to 8% chance of winning the US Open in 2026. It's a long shot, but then again, so was everything Eala has ever accomplished. The same analysis noted that Eala is no longer intimidated by the top 10, pointing to her run in Washington where she defeated Naomi Osaka in the semifinals and came back against Jessica Pegula. The final. That win over Pegula was her 5th consecutive victory over a top 10 opponent. Kim Clijsters, the 4-time Grand Slam champion, believes Eala can win a major. I definitely think someone like an Eala, because of the mindset. She is so strong mentally, the way she is able to move side to side, the ground strokes that she has. I definitely think they can win a slam, Clijsters said on the Love All podcast. Maybe Eala not as much yet as a Pegula, but I think Jessie believes she can win a Grand Slam. I think that is where it starts most of all. You have to believe you can beat every player out there. Even Clijsters acknowledged Eala's serve as a potential weakness. But she also noted that players like Anastasia Miskina and Angelique Kerber didn't have the most powerful serves and still won Grand Slams. The point is clear, Eala doesn't need to be perfect. She just needs to be fearless, and that's exactly what she is. The victory over Amanda Anisimova sent shockwaves through the tennis world, but for SX Eala, it was just another step on a journey that's far from over. The $7.4 million Cincinnati Open dream is still alive, but the real prize waiting at the end of this road is something even more valuable. With the quarterfinals secured, Eala now faces a path that is both daunting and full of opportunity. Waiting in the round of 16 could be world number 8 Linda Noskova of Czechia or no. 42 Clara Tauson of Denmark. It's a rematch that carries extra weight. Noskova has beaten Eala twice in 2026, with dominant scorelines of 6-2, 6 at Indian Wells and 6-2, 6-4 in the Berlin Open semifinals. Those losses stung. And if there's one thing Eala has proven this season, it's that she doesn't forget. Perhaps Eala's biggest weapon, however, is her mindset, noted Gemini in a recent analysis. Years of high-level training have equipped her with the ability to remain composed under pressure and find tactical solutions when matches turn against her. Rather than panicking after losing a set or facing a difficult stretch, she has shown a growing ability to reset and fight back. That mental resilience could prove decisive at the US Open, and that's where the real focus lies. Cincinnati is the final tournament before the US Open, which begins August 23 at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows, New York. It's the Grand Slam where Eala's journey to the main draw was denied by Ruse just 2 years ago. Now she returns as a seeded player, a WTA champion and a legitimate dark horse contender. ChatGPT, in a recent analysis, gave Eala a 5 to 8% chance of winning the US Open in 2026. It's a long shot, but then again, so is everything Eala has ever accomplished. The same analysis noted that she is no longer intimidated by the top 10. Eala's Washington run is particularly impressive because she beat Naomi Osaka in the semifinals and then came back against Jessica Pegula in the final. The Pegula win was her 5th consecutive victory over a top 10 opponent. ChatGPT also highlighted the improvement in Eala's serve, historically one of the areas opponents targeted. Against Pegula, her left-handed serve and aggressive baseline game helped her turn the match around dramatically, winning 10 of the final 13 games. Greg Ruzetsky, the 1997 US Open finalist and former British number 1, has been one of Eala's most vocal supporters. When asked about the tough draw in Cincinnati, Ruzetsky dismissed the concern entirely. Why should she care whether she's playing an Anisimova, whoever's in the section? Look at the people she beat to win Washington. It was world-class players from start to finish, Ruzetsky said. He added that her recent form has made the identity of her opponent almost irrelevant. Ruzetsky also praised Eala's mental toughness, noting that she competed in Toronto running on fumes and emotions and still won a couple of matches as well. So, I'm not worried about it. She competes, she fights, she's so mentally tough that it doesn't matter who's in her way. And then came the boldest prediction of all. You've got to play great tennis to beat her, Ruzetsky said. And I see her only going one direction, and that's up. The numbers back up the optimism. Eala has already beaten 8 top 10 players this season. Iga Swiatek twice, Jessica Pegula, Elena Rybakina, Elina Svitolina, Jasmine Paolini, Madison Keys, Coco Gauff, and now Amanda Anisimova. She's won her first WTA Tour title, reached the 4th round of Wimbledon, and climbed to a career-high number 20 in the world. She's earned over $2.9 million in career prize money and has endorsements with Nike, Globe Telecom, Babolat, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, and Locally Juice. But for Eala, the money has never been the point. The prize purse remains secondary to the milestone she achieved, a historic WTA crown that will forever stand as her greatest reward, noted the Manila Bulletin after her Washington triumph. What matters is the legacy. What matters is the dream that has driven her since she was 4 years old, watching her brother practice on a court made of crushed seashells in Manila. What matters is becoming the first Filipino and the first Southeast Asian player to win a Grand Slam. The US Open is right around the corner. Cincinnati is the final test. And Alex Eala, at just 21 years old, is ready for whatever comes next. When Alex Eala walked onto the court at the Lindner Family Tennis Center to face Amanda Anisimova, the odds were against her. The American was the higher seed, the more experienced player, the one who had reached Grand Slam finals just last year. But Eala didn't care about odds. She cares about winning. With every forehand winner, every breakpoint converted, every roar from the Filipino crowd, Eala proved that she belongs among the best in the world. She's beaten 8 top 10 players this season. She's won her first WTA title. She's inspired a nation of 116 million people to believe in the impossible. And she's just getting started. The 7.4 million Tiller Cincinnati Open dream lives on. But the real dream, the one that started on a court made of crushed seashells in Manila, is still unfolding. The US Open awaits, and Alex Eala is ready to make history. Can Alex Eala win a Grand Slam? Will she become the first Filipino champion in tennis history? And when she does, will the Eala effect finally take over the entire world? Subscribe to the channel for more tennis stories that inspire, captivate, and make history.